Dun, 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 dun. Welcome to the big show, ladies and gentlemen. It's the What's on Sports podcast. My name is John Pandora, and I'll be your host today. We're broadcasting to you live on Facebook and on YouTube. And for some of you, you're downloading the show and listening to it on your favorite podcast networks. Thousands of people listen to this show every day that we do it. And throughout the week, we get thousands and thousands of listeners. We'd like to thank you all for supporting the show and making it the success that it's become. We'd also like to thank our sponsor. For those of you that really want to learn about sports trading, which is like gambling on steroids, man, go over to sportstradingsystems.com where they can teach you how to trade sports just like other people trade stocks. Today we have a huge show. It's we're going to talk about DeVonta Smith, who just won the Heisman. I thought he gave a great acceptance speech. We're going to cover the NFL stat leaders. You know, the season's over, so we're going to do a whole recap. We're going to cover NFL stat leaders, who led in what categories. We're going to do our own What's on Sports awards. We'll tell you who we think is the MVP of the league, offensive player of the league, offensive player of the year, defensive player of the year, etc. Then we're going to play a little game called First Reaction, where we dive into the playoffs and we give you a first reaction of every game. We've got our mailbag. You guys wrote in your questions. We're going to answer all the questions for you. And we're going to do a lot of other really good stuff. I do want to remind you that we have a website out there, which is whatsonsports.com. You guys are going to love it. Go over and check it out. We've got some great articles and some amazing content that is constantly being shared over there. Go over and check out whatsonsports.com today so you can see all the good stuff. Now, before we start, I do want to say a couple breaking news items that popped up today. First of all, Chan Gailey resigned as Dolphins offensive coordinator. I thought he was going to retire. There were rumors that were going to let him go, but Chan Gailey is no longer with the Dolphins. What does this mean? It means, unfortunately, as much as I don't think they thought that he was able to get the best out of Tua as a quarterback, unfortunately, this means that Tua is going to have a brand new Tua Tagovailoa, whatever the hell his name is. I just say Tua. Tua is going to have a brand new offensive coordinator, which is really one of those things that I hate for a young quarterback. I hate when young quarterbacks are constantly put through the ringer of having a new coordinator year after year after year. You end up with Alex Smith, who now we can see is really, when healthy, one of those elite quarterbacks. What he did in Kansas City was great. What he did his first year in Washington is good. What he's doing now in this amazing comeback is phenomenal. You can see the talent that Alex Smith has. But in his first few years in San Francisco, he was constantly being brought in through different systems that never stuck around and stayed with him. So because of that, Alex Smith was never allowed to grow as a quarterback. And I think you'll probably see the same thing happen with Tua. What you can hope for is that whoever replaces Chan Gailey comes in and uses the same language and just changes some things up a little bit so that Tua doesn't have to learn a brand new language all over again. Chances are they probably won't do that. They might bring in somebody brand new, which means that Tua and the rest of the team will be learning the offense from scratch. That's never a good thing for a young quarterback, in my opinion. I don't think it's a good thing for any quarterback, but it's definitely not a good thing for a young quarterback. Also, more breaking news coming in. Trevor Lawrence is going pro. He made his decision today as if we thought he would stay. I didn't think so. He's going pro, which means that he is saying, Jacksonville, draft me. I'm fine going there. What does Trevor Lawrence mean to Jacksonville? He means a lot. That is the one thing that if you listen to the owner of the Jacksonville Jaguars talking this week, the one thing he said is the one thing that we've been missing all this time throughout the storied history of this franchise is we've been missing a franchise quarterback. Now, Mark Brunell would have something to say about that because at one time he was an elite quarterback who played for them, but they've never had a Trevor Lawrence. They've never had a number one overall quarterback pick go in there and be the man. This guy is being compared to Andrew Luck. They're saying he's got the same kind of tools. He can run the ball. He can, not super fast, but he can definitely run the ball. He obviously knows how to lead receivers. He's an elite level intellect as a quarterback. Trevor Lawrence goes into the NFL draft. We'll be talking about the NFL draft today and a lot of other stuff. But the first thing I want to do, if you're watching at home, you can see that we have a list of things we're going to be talking about. I want to make sure that we congratulate DeVonta Smith, whose name is misspelled on this, but on the thing that you see in front of you. But DeVonta Smith gave what I thought was one of the best Heisman speeches I've heard in a while. if you've never heard DeVonta speak, he was very eloquent, very classy. DeVonta Smith winning the Heisman.
Dad, just everything that y'all taught me to mold me into the young man I am today. I want to thank my mentor, Vincent Sanders. Without you, I wouldn't be where I am today. Just from the rise to taking me places that I want to visit, just to doing things and just helping me get to where I am. I want to thank Coach Saban for giving me the opportunity to come play at the University of Alabama. Thank Coach Wiggins, my receiver coach, just for helping me day in and day out, watching film, making me a better player.
Now, if you listen to this kid talk, I'm listening to this kid talk, and I'm hearing a humble leader. I mean, just the tone of his voice, a little Southern drawl to him, but he just, to me, he sounds like a smart kid. He sounds like the kind of kid you want to draft. I'm watching this guy, and I'm thinking they got this guy as the third or fourth best wide receiver in the NFL draft coming up here. If he interviews like this, and this is a big part of being drafted, if he interviews like this is going to be the first guy to come off the board as a wide receiver.
With team success comes individual success. So without y'all, I wouldn't be where I am today, winning this award. And just to all the young kids out there that's not the biggest, not the strongest, just keep pushing, because I'm not the biggest. I've been doubted a lot just because of my size. And really, it just comes down to you put your mind to it, you can do it. No job is too big. If you put your mind to it, you can do it, and just keep believing in God, and you'll get where you want to be.
Love it. Love it. So, a lot of people said DeVonta Smith wasn't big enough to be the elite receiver that he is. I think he only weighs about 175 pounds, which is a little small. But, I mean, if you watch the kid play, again, going back to the same thing, you can have all the tools that you want. You can be the athlete that you want to be. But the guys that are really elite in the NFL, the guys that are really elite in the NBA, the guys that are really elite in almost all major sports have what it takes above the shoulders. And I'm talking about the head for the game. And not everybody has that. But it's amazing that DeVonta was able to not only display that, but also be able to talk about it. By the way, if you see the comments coming on the bottom of the screen, anybody who's watching the show at home live can jump in there. Jack Sparrow says, well-deserved. DeVonta Smith is the new Heisman Trophy winner for 2021-2020 season.